feedback here. Maybe it's too loud. I don't know. Let me see. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Hopefully you guys can still hear me okay. But hey, you guys know how I do it. I do these daily check-ins daily. Today I'm a little early, right? Because I have some things I need to do this afternoon, and I didn't have time to wait till noon to do it. Okay, so but hey, there we go. We're still doing it, right? Just that it's going to be a little early today. But let me put on the chat if you have questions at all, because we're live here on LinkedIn, live on YouTube. Okay, at the same time. Okay, so go ahead and make your comments if that's what you want to do. I appreciate it. If not, then I appreciate you listening. One thing that this whole journey of doing podcasts and digital shows is good that people actually listen to them, right, or watch it, right? Because I was at a couple of events this week, uh, HSMAI, which was on Tuesday, and then TTMA, which was yesterday. And people, make comments. Are you that Russell of Hotels that talks, on LinkedIn? I'm like, yeah, that's me. So it's always good to know that people actually, they didn't say if they liked it or not, but at least they said they watched it or seen, they they recognize me, right? Or they at least listen for a little bit or whatever. And I asked for some feedback. Somebody gave me some feedback. I don't really know how they really felt, but oh, it was nice. I saw you did an interview with a young lady. I think it was last week, and I said, oh yeah, Jean Devine, right? She goes, oh yeah. She was. She spoke more about her than about me, so that's fine. But that's okay because it's not about me. It's about the people that come on the show, right? So, but anyway, once again, I'm Russell, Russell Edmond, Russell of Hotels, right? So I do these daily check-ins daily, but I also have a show called On Air with Russell of Hotels, which is a live hospitality talk show, podcast, digital show, whatever the heck you want to call it. It comes on every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Okay, but today's not Tuesday, today's Thursday. So happy Thursday to everybody. I think it's September 28th. I want to give a quick shout out to people that are at the Cedar Rapids fam. I was supposed to be there, but some flight restrictions or the lack of flights that I was able to get, and it was last minute for me. It just didn't work out, but I actually should be in Cedar Rapids, Iowa right now, but I can't be there. But I talked to several people that were there last night. Miss Cheryl Rogers calls me and wants to do a FaceTime so everyone can see me and I can see everyone else, that kind of thing. So I appreciate you, Cheryl. Thank you so much for, letting me know who was there and what I was missing out on and all that stuff. But that's okay. But shout out to Julie Stow, who was, director at Cedar Rapids CVB. Shout out to her. Cheryl Rogers, of course. Sometimes my partner in crime with What the Hell, but sometimes that don't even happen. Ronnie Palmer was there. Ronnie Palmer does her own thing. She's a hotel site selection meeting planner. She does kind of the same things that I do. We love Ronnie. Ronnie used to be in the DMO world as well. And then Miss Shelby Walker was there. One of my favorite people in the DMO world. That's Destination Marketing Organization. She's the new director of sales at Visit Berkeley, formerly of Visit Concord, but now she moved over to Visit Berkeley. So she's the director of sales and marketing there. Okay, so yeah, so shout out to them, and I appreciate them getting appreciate Cheryl letting me talk to them. I talked to probably Shelby more than I talked to any of them, but it was just good to see them, and I wish them well. Safe travels back. Have a good time in Cedar Rapids, and let Cedar Rapids know that I miss you. Maybe one day I'll make it there. But let's see. So that's that. And a quick other shout out to Miss Tasha Vilson with TTMA. Um, I went to TTMA yesterday, and I hadn't been there in a while. I mean, I haven't been to that. They used to have luncheons or whatever, or their events. I hadn't been there in a while. And I may have mentioned this yesterday when I did my live yesterday, but I hadn't been there in a while, right? And it's just different kind of energy, and all the energy, the positive energy that I feel, is coming from Miss Tasha Vilson and the new vision that she has for TTMA. So I appreciate what you're doing. I will definitely be a supporter. Put me on the mailing list, which you said you would do. I thank you so much. I followed you on LinkedIn, so hopefully, I start getting, the mailings and all that stuff, and I definitely will support. So appreciate that. But let's moving forward. Let's see. I always have an agenda that I want to talk about, and guess what today's is? Okay. Now I may have talked about this before, but it's been a while, and it's okay if I talk about the same stuff over and over again. But no, it's not. It didn't happen like it was like last week. It's probably 6 months ago, or maybe even last year. I don't know when I talked about it. But this is it. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up. Let me back up first before I get to that. This is the Renaissance LAX. Okay, so I was at the Renaissance yesterday for TTMA. The luncheon was there at the Renaissance LAX, which I love this hotel. Right, it's one of my favorite hotels at the airport, probably in the top two, I would say, right there on Airport Boulevard. So it's not on Century with every other busy hotel. It's on Airport Boulevard. So there you go. But 502 rooms, 16 meeting rooms, because these are the specifics. These are the vitals for the hotel. So every meeting planner, every site selection person wants to know, well, how big is the hotel? How much meeting space do they have? How many meeting rooms, right? So 502 guest rooms, okay, as you can see, one of the guest rooms, 16 meeting rooms, okay, so, and all the meeting rooms are on one level. They're on the ground level, same lobby level, but they're on the opposite side of the hotel. They're like at the east side of the hotel. So you don't have to go through, well, I guess you do have to go through the lobby to get there. If you park in the parking structure, you just come off the elevator bank and on that level, and then the meeting space is right there. So you don't have to go to the lobby if you don't want to, right? So I love that about it. And then the total square footage is about 12,077 square feet of meeting space. Okay, so not an overly big hotel. I mean, as far as meeting space is concerned, based on the number of rooms, but it works, right? So, but they got transportation to and from the airport. They have all that, like a lot of the hotels do. But I just want to give you some more specifics, the vitals of the hotel, because I mention hotels, but I don't really go into detail. So maybe moving forward, I'll start giving more of the vitals of the hotel, right? What do you think about that? You like that? Okay, I like that too. So there you go. So I want to do that before I move on. So, okay, moving on now. What is a CVB or a DMO? Everybody wants to know that. And why did I choose that one today? I was sitting, this is the table I was sitting at yesterday for lunch. There's salad there, and that's all I had right now. I only had the salad, right? I guess I didn't get a ticket for the vegan or the vegetarian meal, so I don't even know what that was. And when I asked the gentleman, the server, I said, well, I can I have a vegetarian or vegan meal or whatever? He said, well, did you get a ticket? I'm like, no, they didn't announce that I needed a ticket. I didn't know anybody. Well, we don't have any left. I'm like, okay, well then I don't want one. If you don't have any left, well then I can't ask for it, right? He said, well, I can go. I said, no, that's okay. I'm cool. He said, you want another salad? No, I'm good. I'm greened out. So no, I said I'm fine. But yeah, so I didn't see the tickets. I didn't know what the protocol was. It wasn't his fault. It's probably, and I'm not saying it's anyone's fault. It's just that maybe if I really wanted that vegetarian or vegan meal, I should have, before I sat down, say, hey, what's the protocol for me to get a vegan, meal or whatever? But that's okay. But anyway, the salad was fine. They had the, balsamic vinaigrette dressing. So hey, I was good, right? And I had a glass of water. So and butter if I wanted it. I'm joking. I don't eat butter unless it's vegan butter. But anyway, so this is actually the table, and I was sitting next to the people from CVBs and DMO. So I'm like, and there's a lot of them there, right? A lot of CVB and DMO people, which is great, right? I always love that. But you know what? I really, back in the day, and this is just a side thing, I didn't understand the role of a CVB or a DMO. Okay, and I'm going to explain that stuff in a minute. But I didn't understand it when I was probably halfway. Now, mind you, I've been to 14 different hotels. I worked in 14 different hotels. 14 different hotels over like 24, 25 years. Let's just throw that number out there, right? But half of that was probably in sales, maybe more than half of that. 3/4 of my time in hospitality was in sales, right? Or the hotels was in sales. But I didn't know, I would say I was probably into my fourth assignment as a director of sales and marketing before I really knew what a DMO did or CVB did. I mean, I knew that they existed, but I really didn't know what they did, right? I remember just real quick, well, everything I keep saying real quick, right? But I remember doing a road show with with LA. It was called LA CVB then. I guess now it's LA. I don't know, tourism. I don't know what it's called now. LA Tourism. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, I'll think about it in a minute. But it was just LACVB back then, I believe. But anyway, I remember doing a road show with Nan Marchand. You guys remember Nan? I mean, she's still around. I think she's in DC now doing big things. Nan Marchand was, I don't know if she was there as a consulting basis. I can't remember, but LACVB was kind of promoting their park and fly kind of thing, right? I mean, park and cruise. They're cruising, cruise. What am I trying to say? That cruise lines, Carnival, Princess, and some of the other ones. They kind of launched from the LA area, which was in San Pedro at the time, right? So they were talking about, cruising. So we did a road show through Canada, right? So we started in one city, I can't remember, it was Calgary, and kind of worked our way towards Vancouver. So we're there like a week on a motor coach, and then we flew from one city to another, and it was the most amazing thing. That's when I kind of knew what a CVB was and what they stood for, because of Nan Marchand. And when you spend a lot of time on a motor coach, going to different cities, meeting with travel agents and things like that, talking about your hotel, talking about the destination, talking about our hotel was a great hotel to kind of park your car there and take a cruise or fly in, and then we would shuttle you to the port to get on your ship and do your vacation, and we would pick you back up, bring you back to the hotel, whatever we needed to do, right? So it was all about promoting cruising out of LA, which was San Pedro at the time, right? So when I happened to be at it's now the DoubleTree San Pedro. I happened to be the director of sales and marketing at the Hilton DoubleTree, same hotel, but it's just a different name back then. And I just remember that, right? So that's when I really knew what a CVB or DMO was. They were CVBs then. I didn't even know what DMO was then. I don't think anyone knew what the DMO stood for then. That was not what it was called then. So the old name is CVB, okay? DMO stands for Destination Marketing Organization, which that came later, okay? So that just kind of tells you, I'm not trying to say show my age, but that kind of tells you that, if people mention CVB, you're old school. If you mention DMO, you're new school. Okay, let's just throw it out there. It is what it is. But yeah, so that's when I got to learn exactly, what they did, what their role was, and how important that role was. So those are things I'm going to talk about today. Just briefly, I'm not going to go into real detail, but I'm going to go in detail enough that you're going to see and understand. When I get off of this live, you're going to know, I know what a CVB/DMO is. Okay. So, and I got to go because someone is texting me and I have to go, but before I go, of course, I'm going to go through this stuff. So I'm not leaving until 11:30 because that was the plan. Okay. That was the plan. So, but anyway, so let's move on. So what is a CVB or DMO? A Convention and Visitors Bureau, CVB, also known as a DMO, Destination Marketing Organization, or Tourism Board, is an organization that promotes and markets a specific city, region, or destination to attract visitors, tourists, and business travelers. The primary role of a CVB is to drive tourism and enhance the economic impact of visitors on the local community. So that's what the role of a DMO or CVB is, okay? So with that being said, here are some key functions and responsibilities of a CVB. Of course, I have like 5 of them. I think it's 6. What are a CVB's responsibilities? Everybody wants to know that, right? Everybody wants to know what their responsibilities are. Okay, well, I'm going to give you a couple. So number 1, destination marketing. That's one of them, right? Okay, destination. What is destination marketing? CVBs actively market and promote their destination to various target markets, including leisure travelers, business travelers, event planners, and meeting organizers. They create and implement marketing campaigns to showcase the attractions, amenities, accommodations, and experiences available to the destination. So just like I just used that example of me doing this road show back in the day with LA CVB, LA Tourism. It was to showcase our destination, and as a option to cruise out of, right? So we were going to travel agents. I mean, we hundreds of travel agents at each stop. We must have stopped maybe 5 times and did this presentation. And there was hundreds of travel agents throughout Canada that were there. When we fed them, we sat and talked to them, and we just talked about our destination or talk about our cruise destination. I was talking about the DoubleTree, the Hilton in San Pedro as a great hotel to stay in before you cruise, right? Because we were literally less than a mile from the port, right? So what it was no better place to stay, right? So yeah, it was interesting. So okay, so that's destination marketing. Number 2 is convention and meeting services. What does that mean? CVBs assist in attracting and hosting conventions, conferences, trade shows, and other business events. They provide support to event planners by offering information about venues, accommodations, transportation, and local services. CVBs may also help with the bid proposal, site selection, which I do, so they help me, right? Site selection, what was that? Information about venues, accommodation, transportation, and local services. CVBs may also help with bid proposal, site selection, and coordinating of logistics. So they do all that stuff, right? So what I do, the first thing I do, because I do hotel site selection, which some people know, some people don't know, right? So I help companies and organizations find that right hotel for their meeting, their convention, their conference, their retreat, whatever, whatever the reason is you're meeting, I help with that, right? Well, my first stop in that journey, once my client says, hey, I need LA, to host this particular whatever. So my job is I put the RFP together, request for a proposal, and I send it to the first stop is I send it to my CVB partner, okay, like Anna Kim. Okay, I send it to Anna Kim. Anna Kim, disseminates it to all her hotel partners in that particular area based on what I'm looking for, right? So then they respond to me directly, but it's initially goes from me to Anna to her partners, right? And then they respond back to me individually. And then from there, I compile the information, send it to my client. So, and then we go from there. So that's just part of the process. But like, I rely on people like Anna Kim or, maybe Shelby, Walker, with another CVB or, what's her name? Shannon White with Long Beach CVB or Marilyn Crunk with Anaheim, all those kind of people that you have relationship with. Or I can't think of Arlette with Ontario CVB. I'm just dropping names now. Okay, so I'm just dropping names. This is what I do. So but yeah, so that's what that's how they help me as a hotel site selection person. So that was number 2, and that was convention and meeting services. Okay, let's get to number 3. We're almost done. Don't worry. Number 3 is visitor information and services. CVBs serve as a central hub for visitor information. They operate visitor centers or information desks where travelers can obtain maps, brochures, event calendars, and recommendations about attractions, restaurants, and activities in the area. CVBs also maintain websites and online platforms to provide up-to-date information and resources for visitors. So yeah, if you're traveling, say you're in Santa Monica, okay, and you see like the visitor center, like right across from the pier or right there on Ocean Boulevard or whatever, it has information about attractions in that particular area, right? Throughout LA, right? Or maybe you're in Hollywood, you're in West Hollywood or whatever, or downtown. It's giving you information. There's visitor centers everywhere throughout LA. And I'm sure whatever destination you have to be, if it's Anaheim, if that's Ontario, if that's Long Beach, the LBC, they have those information centers where they're giving you information, just the individual people. So you don't have to be a group to utilize the services of a CVB or DMO because they're all about getting dollars in the hotels. They're all about getting people heads in beds, right? Because that's how they're paid. A lot of CVBs are paid through that, right? That's how they generate. That's one form of generating revenue for a CVB is the tax dollars that go, from the hotel. Once they stay there, it generates tax dollars, and some of that goes to the CVB. So And I'll talk about that later, right? But this is just we're just scratching the surface, right? But so yeah, so that was number 3. Number 4, industry advocacy. Advocacy. CVBs advocate for the tourism industry and work to enhance the destination's overall attractiveness. Some destinations need more, they have a lack of attractiveness, so they need people to, to get out there and, so you don't have to see all that less attractive stuff. You're like, oh, okay, I love this because, I like this person or whatever. So, and that's what it's all about. To enhance the destination overall attractiveness, they collaborate with local businesses, which is always the key, like restaurants and, everything travel related. Attractions, if you're near, if there's amusement parks within the destination as well, they work with them as well. Hotels, of course, transportation, like rental car, bus transportation, light rail or whatever, providers, transportation providers to strengthen the tourism infrastructure. CVBs may also engage with government entities, policymakers, and community stakeholders to address issues related to tourism development, regulations, and funding, like, say, homelessness or things like that. So you have to work in conjunction with the city government to get things taken care of. Okay, if they identify there's a problem with getting more people in, well, guess what? The city don't want anybody messing with their money. Okay, so let's get some stuff taken care of so we can get more people in here. Okay, that's how it works. Man, I'm just throwing it out there. That's just how it works. So you understand that? Well, I don't have to really go into detail on that one. Number 5, research and marketing or market intelligence. CVBs conduct research and gather market intelligence to understand visitor trends. That's always important. Preferences and the competitive landscape, because they're competing with other destinations, right? Just because we're LA, well, LA, you'd be surprised all the other destinations that LA competes with for business. New York, Chicago, New Orleans, Las Vegas, all those major destinations, San Francisco, you compete with them. So you want to make sure that you have enough people out there always actively promoting your destination. It ain't easy, right? Citywide conventions, they want to get more citywide conventions, right? Well, if other cities have more attractive whatever destinations or whatever, well, then, then you may lose some business because of that. So that's why cities are always, or destinations, always trying to one up. They're trying to do renovation. They want to add more things, more attractions, because they're trying to get more business in, because more business or more travelers equals more dollars, right? Simple economics. Let's see. So they analyze data related to visitor demographics, travel patterns, economic impact, and market dynamics. This information helps in strategic planning, identifying target markets, developing effective marketing strategies. So all that stuff, all the information you get, all the numbers get crunched and say, okay, we get a certain amount of people from this country are coming, so let's maybe appeal to that country. Maybe we need to promote more business to them because a lot of them are coming over here. Like we get a lot of visitors from China. Okay, well, they open up like 2 or 3 offices in China. And that makes sense, right? If the bulk of your business is coming from one particular area, why not try to get more of it? Okay, they're spending money, they're coming, so let's just try to do that, right? So that's a lot of times that they do, and this is behind the scenes stuff that you don't even know, right? You wonder, well, how do these people get here? Why are they coming here? Because someone is there actively soliciting for their business. They're promoting the heck out of, like, I'm just using LA as an example because I live here, but they promote the heck out of China, they promote LA in China, okay, and some other countries as well. But I think China is number one because they spend a lot of money here, okay? I mean, that's simple economics, just like I said. So, but anyway, you understand what I'm saying? You get the gist of what I'm saying? So you probably didn't know that Thursday was going to be this huge educational day as far as CVBs and DMOs, right? But when you're dealing with Russell of Hotels, you just don't know what he's going to say, what he's going to talk about. But hopefully this stuff is being educational for you and eye-opening, because a lot of people don't know how this whole thing works. They know hotels, they know restaurants, I can rent a car, I at the airport. I mean, I know what airlines I fly in, but there's a whole, other thing that pushes this whole engine, this whole travel and tourism thing. And not that I, know everything because I don't know everything, but I do know enough to understand how all the pieces fit in the puzzle. Okay, because before I didn't know that. Even when I worked there, there's people that work in hotels now that don't know how CVBs work or how to utilize a CVB to your advantage. And I'm gonna talk about that too, right? So I'm gonna be on this whole CVB rant for the next week or so, okay? So, or at least the next couple of days. But anyway, so you'll know what I'm talking about. So number 6 is event support and coordination. CVBs often support the planning and execution of major events, like E3. Remember E3? Major events and festivals held in destinations, just like Coachella. Somebody within, I think, Coachella or the desert, they do the CVB out there or DMO. They're responsible for, the success of Coachella. Coachella started off as this little small thing, but it just grew quickly, right? But a lot of it has to do with the local CVB out there that's promoting the heck out of it, not just that event, but the venues and the hotels and the list that comes in and out of there. So someone has to do that. So it's a team effort to build on something like a Coachella. But just think about how Coachella started years ago, and it was something small, but now something huge, and that's because of tourism. When people start spending money, you want more of that money, right? You want more of those people that are coming. How do I get more of those people? Well, doing the research and demographics and research and market intelligence and industry advocacy, all that stuff matters, right? When it comes to getting more business in your destination, which ultimately will come to your hotels. There you go. So that's what I'm all about, right? So okay, getting back to this. 6, event support and coordination. Did I start this one already? So CVBs often support the planning and execution of major events and festivals held in the destination. They collaborate with event organizers, local authorities, and stakeholders to ensure smooth operations, adequate infrastructure, and optimal visitor experience. You want your visitors to have a great experience, because what happens when a visitor has a great experience? They go back and tell 10 people. Each of them go back and tell people. But if you have a horrible experience, you go back and tell 100 people. Okay, but it doesn't matter for LA because people will still come, right? So it doesn't matter, good, bad, or indifferent. People still come in, right? So, but anyway, you always want a good experience. You want to make sure that we're letting people know that we had a good experience when we were there, right? We ask for feedback all the time, man. That's why we ask for feedback, because we want to know how can we service you better next time if you come back, right? So overall, CVBs play a crucial role in attracting visitors, boosting the local economy, and enhancing the overall image and reputation of a destination by marketing the unique offerings of their area, providing visitor services, and facilitating events. CVBs contribute to the growth and sustainability of the tourism industry. Boom, done. So that's what I want to talk about today. It was all about the CVBs. The next time, maybe tomorrow, I'll talk about how, now I'm going to get into hotels now, right? So how a hotel sales department utilizes, all this data that the CVB does. How should they utilize it? How can a CVB help out a hotel? I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. So anyway, you guys have a great day. Thank you again for listening. Hopefully, I wasn't just all over the place, and I don't think I was. I was really focused today. But anyway, you guys have a great day. Happy Thursday. And I'll see you again tomorrow, because I do these things every single Monday through Friday. It's called Daily Check-In with Russell of Hotels. The time, I'm not going to give a time anymore. I was calling these nooners. I was doing them around noontime, but because of my schedule's been changing, I have things to do. In fact, I'm late to go somewhere right now, but it will be from morning to the afternoon, okay? But it will definitely be tomorrow. So Monday through Friday, just count on me doing a daily check-in, okay? And if you can't catch me live, that's fine, because the replay is going to be on LinkedIn, YouTube, and I may throw it on Twitter and Facebook too, just for kicks and giggles. But anyway, you guys take care. Have a great day. And as